This conference will now be recorded.
Lynn.
Welcome to our AnCan blood cancer group meeting. And I'm so excited you're here because it's the start of Blood Cancer Awareness Month, which there'll be all sorts of things happening and coming out this month for hopefully. And today, I'm Michele Nadeem-Baker. For those of you who don't know me or need me, but I have CLL. Thank you, Sally. But I have CLL, and today is actually World CLL Day on top of it. So all month we'll start seeing different days for different types of blood cancers, and today is the CLL day for all of us who have CLL. So I would love, who else has CLL here? Who's with us? Bill, I know you do, and I know you do too, Barbell. It's hard to tell with, Pat, do you have CLL? I know you have SLL. I don't know if today they just say CLL. They don't say SLL day, but I'm going to include you, Lynn. It's CLL SLL day.
Michele,
I have a combination of both.
Michele,
I have the combo.
Does that come with fries and a drink combo?
Yes, it does.
Yes, all natural fries, baked or air fried fries.
Michele, was your diagnosis CLL or was it SLL?
Mine CLL.
Okay.
CLL. And
I think your video on the patient story is grouped under the SLL category.
Really? They didn't lump us all together like everyone else does? I'll have to talk to Stephanie about that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That could be a mistake. And if you'll all excuse me, I just walked in the house a few minutes ago, and I'm going to be dining here and there. And thank God Al is back. Okay, so we are officially in session. And before we start introducing everyone, who is new? Pat, who we can't see, is new. Joe. And yes, Joe and Faye, you're new.
I am new.
Bill G.
Bill is new.
I thought you had been with us one other time.
Not for AnCan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Probably I've seen you on Blood Cancer Uncensored. All right. Well, this is excellent. All right. And Billy, you also have CLL. Joe and Faye, just so I know, which types of blood cancers or which type do you have?
Joe has myelodysplastic syndrome.
Okay.
Which is in the leukemia family.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay. And let's see who else. Bill, you said CLL. I know that Barbell is CLL. All right. And wait a minute, we lost Ellen. Maybe she'll be back. All right. Would the moderators like to introduce themselves? Just so everyone knows. We have some new folks.
Sally, go ahead. After you turn on your mic. Well, I hate to talk over Sally.
That's okay. You can do that anytime, Lynn. I'm Sally, and I have multiple myeloma.
For how long?
Lynn.
4 years, and I'm in complete remission.
Oh, that's fine.
And I'm Lynn out in West Texas, and my diagnosis SLL 9 years ago.
Okay, so thank you, Lynn and Sally. And Al, can you speak? Can we hear you? You can speak. Oh.
I'm going to turn on closed captions.
Al, this is the same thing as the other day. You're going to have to use a different microphone.
Yeah, do you mind calling in? Yeah, I read that. I read your lips.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just going to see.
Maybe the headset doesn't work.
So, for anybody that this happens to, if you go to the settings in the top right-hand corner, the little sort of daisy-looking thing, and you click that, it'll open, and then there'll be, it'll say microphone and speakers, and you have to choose the microphone that you're using. So in Al's case, he would need to select his his headset microphone. So.
So Al, if you want to call in, do you need the number again, or do you still have it? I think he said I have it. I still have it.
Yeah, he has it.
All right. And hopefully Ellen will be back. Sally, I believe that's Ellen with multiple myeloma, right? Hopefully she'll be back. Maybe she was having some issues too. All right, so I'd love to know who would like some time to share and speak tonight. Barbel, would you like to, since you're here in the middle of the night in Germany?
Well, I'm 73 years old. I had chronic lymphocytic leukemia, and I was in treatment twice, but I'm in a complete remission since March.
Well, if you would like to share, oh my God, that's fabulous. Well, if you would like to share, we'll come back to you after I find out if anyone else wants to share. Is there anything else you'd like to share with people tonight once we come back to you?
Oh, I could say I was in the CLL 13 study the first time, which came out now. The results came out, and I was without cancer after 8 months. And then
we're
I
going
was
to come back to you and ask you
30
more
months,
questions.
but I relapsed, and then I was retreated, and now I'm off again.
Yeah, I would say you can always come back to Barbel. She's always got a little more to add.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll come back to you after then.
Okay.
Sally, I'm going along how my Hollywood squares look right now. Sally, I haven't talked to you in a while. Would you like to share this evening about your visitor from Ireland or anything?
They're upstairs now watching something on television, and of course I'll tell you all about them.
Okay. Joe and Faye, would either of you, when we come back to you, so right now I'm trying to find out for timing how much time we need to leave for everyone.
We'll come back to the new people anyway, so we don't, so you'll come to the new people.
All right. I'll come back to you, Joe and Faye. Jim, do you need any time to share this evening?
Well, actually, I don't, but anyway, I am here for my sister, anyway, MM, she has that, and I'm here for me, anyway, prostate cancer, which is within and with the lymph nodes, although it is asleep now, I believe, so that's good. Well, I'll take that back. Yes, anyway, I can share some things.
All right, Jim. Pat, you're next on my screen. Would you like some time to share this? Well, you're new, so we're going to come back to you, Pat.
Okay.
And Pat, you see the chat room? You can't because you're
No,
on
I'm
phone.
on my phone.
Darn. And you know Lynn. Lynn, do you know
I know
how
Lynn.
we? Okay.
I know Pat too.
Yes, Barbel knows me as well.
Great job, Lynn.
I see Barbel and Pat every Saturday. Put me
Yes.
down to share it.
And Bill, you're new, so we're saving time for you. Lynn, would you like to any time to speak this evening and share anything?
Sure, I'll try to keep it short.
But always sing us a song. And Al, nod yes or no. If you would like some time to share, no. You can hear us though, right? Even though we can't hear you, you can hear us. Okay, great. All right, so I'm going again to go on my screen and who is new this evening to share. And Joe and Faye, we would love to learn more about you. And if you would like to, anyone would like to send their email information in the chat room. If you can open the chat room, that would be great. And you also, so those who are new, if you open the chat room, we sometimes send information in it, like helpful information or comment to each other if you would like to open that. And that would be the top of your screen. It looks like a talk bubble. I don't know how else to explain it than that. It's like a circle with a little arrow off of it. That would be the, if you click on that, that would be the chat room to follow.
And Al has put a post there and he says he needs the number again.
Yeah, I've sent it to him.
And
Okay.
there it is. Okay. So Joe and Faye, when were you diagnosed and what would you like to share with us?
We were out in Aspen, Colorado, and got weak and went to the hospital. They did some blood work and indicated that I had some disorder going on. So we left Aspen, went to Pensacola where I live, and found out that I had MDS. And they treated me with the treatment that they thought was best, but it didn't work. And then we went to MD Anderson and got on a clinical trial. And at the end of January this year. And in February, I went to hospital for like 30 days and got cancer treatment. And next month I was in remission.
Wow.
But I'm still going for chemotherapies every month. So my
And how
biggest,
are you feeling?
I was going to say the biggest complaint is weakness in my legs. I'm not able to go for long walks or hiking. So I found that discouraging. But I'm going to PT and balance classes, trying to get my strength back.
He also just had COVID, so it zapped him pretty bad.
So he's proof that for those of us with blood cancers, it can hit us worse than the average person.
Right.
I mean, and being in treatment as well.
Right.
And when you were in the hospital for 30 days, was that to ramp up on a particular med, or was it for a transplant, a stem cell transplant?
No.
I'm too old for a transplant, so they're just giving me chemo.
It was the beginning. They wanted to watch him the first month of the clinical trial just to see how he did. And we're glad we were there because, you know, he had some issues and stuff, but he's really done really well and been in remission since the first month.
And my blood levels, all numbers came up. Hemoglobin, red and white. So we're happy about that. But
Joe, do they treat, do you go to the leukemia center at MD Anderson?
yeah,
Okay.
I get my chemo in Pensacola.
Okay.
I go back once a month to MD Anderson for a visit with the doctor, and they look at my blood work and
Bone marrow
biopsies.
Do you recall which doctor you're seeing there at MD Anderson?
Yes, Dr. Chin. What's the first name?
Kelly Chin.
CHIN?
CHIEN. She's our primary doctor, but we've seen a couple. We saw the one doctor who's in charge of the trial. I lost a blank on his name. And we've seen a couple of other doctors too there.
And how much longer do you have on this trial? Or for chemo?
Forever. Until it doesn't work anymore.
And is chemo once a month?
Yes.
So 5 days with drip and then 10 days with the pill, chemo pill.
He's on Vidaza and Venetoclax.
Oh, interesting. That's used for CLL and SLL as well.
But they use it in other malignancies too, and AML also.
Yeah, it actually wasn't approved for MDS to use the Venetoclax, but they got a special approval to do this trial.
So that's part of probably then what the trial is about. Wow.
Right.
And what is the infusion portion?
But
The name of it?
Vidaza or azacitidine.
Oh, yeah, mm-hmm.
And what was it was Gazyva with what?
No, it's a good treatment.
I missed what your question was.
So it's Gazyva you said and something else?
Yeah.
Oh, azacitidine.
We take a pill for 10 days.
That's the Venetoclax.
That's Venetoclax.
Gazyva, and that's used for CLL as well and others. And what was the other one? I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
The infused drug.
The infused drug is either called Vidaza. The other name is azacitidine.
Azacitidine.
Yeah, it's another antibody. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. And you said that's basically forever this protocol then, but you're in remission. That's fabulous.
Right.
So they said they keep giving me this treatment until it stops working, then they'll give me something else.
Joe, I have a friend in Texas that just began treatment for MDS about 2 weeks ago. And she's, I'd guess, about 80. She lives near Houston, Ryan College Station area. So I'm going to pass word on to her about the clinical trial in case her first treatment doesn't work.
Good.
Yeah, for sure. Because the first treatment they gave him was, do you remember what? Oh, Revlimid. Revlimid, Revlimid.
I've had that.
Yeah, which they said should have done something, but it didn't do anything. So
those are two treatments that they use for multiple myeloma.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Well, we've found in this group amongst all of our different blood cancers that there are some similarities, both in treatment and in side effects from treatment, and also in somewhat, not as much in symptoms, but more when it comes to the others and also some of the things we go through. So it's always very interesting to all of us when we have someone who's being treated with something similar to what we're getting. Did you have any questions you wanted to ask? Or, I mean, you can certainly come back after other people speak and ask them. But thank you so much for joining us.
A pleasure. Looking forward to learning more about how y'all dealing with your ailments.
So you're in the land of the Blue Angels,
Yes,
Pensacola.
We see them fly every week.
Are you a former Blue Angel, Joe?
No, I was infantry, Army.
That's what my husband was. So, hooah. I don't say it with as much. Hooah.
Hooah.
That was a good hooah.
And how are you, Michele? Are you still in treatment?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, no, Michele.
Oh,
Michele was in treatment also.
I am. Thank you for asking. Yes. Well, I'm back in treatment. I started in November again.
And how long do you have to go?
Indefinite.
Okay.
I'm only on I'm on acalabrutinib, and as we know, it's indefinite.
BTK. Hi.
I may add in obinutuzumab to see if I can reach UMRD. However, because I'm in my second line of treatment and because I did not reach UMRD the first time, and I was on FCR and ibrutinib in a trial, they're unsure if I would reach undetectable minimal residual disease for those who are new, UMRD. They're unsure if I would reach it on obinutuzumab and acalabrutinib. So it'd be a crapshoot. It's one I may take. Are you on treatment, Barbell?
No, I'm off since March.
You're UMRD, that's right, you said that. We'll have to find out after we speak.
Perfect. I'm trying now to see what my immune system does. But I haven't been sick the last couple of years, so no problem.
Knock on wood or touch wood, depending on where you're from here.
Mhm.
Bill, you like to
Let's just check in with Joe. Joe, how are you doing with the treatment, and what sort of side effects are you encountering? And are there any side effects that maybe this group can help you with?
Well, I'm not sure if they're related, but I have had diarrhea and constipation, and it goes back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
The two side effects, I think it is. And I don't know about being tired, and I take a couple naps a day,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not able to walk without a walker or hiking sticks.
Right. Right. So is there anyone else in the group that's done Venetoclax? It sounds like that's the more common of the two drugs that has any input on that. I'm not sure. Sally, is the diarrhea and the constipation at all related?
That's Revlimid.
That's Revlimid.
That
Okay.
and the fatigue. Revlimid is fatigue, diarrhea, and sometimes a rash. And
Mhm.
it's constant. I mean, there's not a lot, you can take Imodium and then just pray that you don't take too much. So
Exactly.
Right.
And Barbell raised her hand, I think.
Yes, I had it twice. I had the Venetoclax twice, and it works perfect for me. I had a little nausea, but I could manage that by taking the drug in the evening when I went to bed. Then I didn't have any problems with it. It's a wonder drug for me, really. It has really accomplished a lot because I had a really high tumor burden when I started out. I had 500,000 white blood cells and 367 absolute lymphocytes. So I really had it was urgent in my case, and I had what is called hyperleukocytosis, which means a doubling time within days.
Wow.
Very rare in chronic disease. It's usually in acute leukemias. It is that, but chronic can have it too, but it's very rare. But I had it. If I get something, I get something rare.
Venetoclax is only used in multiple myeloma for one of the types of multiple myeloma with a translocation of 1114. All the other types of myeloma, Venetoclax caused in clinical trials more deaths because of heart disease.
wow.
So Venetoclax has not been approved by the FDA for multiple myeloma in the US, except for clinical trials and extra special cases.
Actually, it doesn't have a heart issue. You don't get heart issues with Venetoclax.
It did with the MM people.
With BTKI, you get it, and maybe with some other drugs. But Venetoclax, no, it's just a nausea.
Yep.
In the clinical trials for the multiple myeloma, it did.
Okay.
In
That's the first I've heard of it.
Maybe they had a pre-existing condition,
No.
No?
It was, there are four major genetic markers for multiple myeloma. And that was the reason. So they only are allowing it to be used for translocation of 1114. Translocations 1420, 1416, and
There's
414
subgroups.
are not being
Like
used.
CLL, lots of subgroups.
Yeah.
It's, yes, all of this alphabet soup for all of us. And I have to say, Joe and Barbell, I don't know yet, Bill and Pat, if either of you have been on Venetoclax, but I have envy because I really wanted to be on it. But I was told save it for when the BTKI stop working. So
That's not a good
you're on.
idea. It's not a good idea. You have 11Q. I mean, you should get a
I
good.
have 11Q. I have 11Q and I'm unmutated.
Yeah, I'm unmutated also.
See, we're CLL twins.
Yep.
Well, Joe, we certainly wish you the best, and I'm glad Faye's there to be with you. And I'm proud of you for being able to get around without a walker and a walking stick. I'm not sure how much longer I can do that. I can get up okay. It's just I don't want to stand steady, you know, kind of wander around.
No, I didn't mean to say I'm still on a walking stick and a walker.
Okay.
I depend on those, but I can drive a car pretty good.
Okay.
Now, is that from that you haven't been walking much? I heard you're in PT and all. Is that more that you have to get your strength back, or do you think it's a side effect or neuropathy or joint pain?
I got a lot of joint pain at night. I have all kind of pain down my leg, my knees, just hips, and my my glutes hurt. So if I get through the night with a little sleep, I'm lucky. But I don't know if that's.
And do they say that can be a side effect, or all those could be side effects?
I don't know. Then nobody ever says that my cancer is related to my pain. I got severe pain in my back, and I went to a pain management doctor and got a
MRI.
A radio frequency ablation.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was last week, so I'm hoping that's going to kick in.
Excuse me, Joe. Excuse me, Joe. You said that you were a vet. Okay, are you a Vietnam vet?
I was in the Army when the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I do too.
I was in when all the sergeants volunteered to go to Vietnam, but I mustered out before I went to Vietnam.
Good man.
Lucky.
Is it polite or impolite to ask you your age?
I know 82. 82. Going strong.
He actually was doing really well before he got COVID a few weeks ago, and then it just kind of pushed him back a few weeks. So he's working at it.
We also have, Joe, a really good vets group that we're just starting up, which is to help people figure out how to navigate the health system as a vet. So, for example, our question to you might be, or to help you get dual registered, because a lot of times the cost of drugs through the VA can be way cheaper than through Medicare or privately. And you have to be registered in the system. So you're still treated at MD Anderson, but you can be treated simultaneously in the VA, and you can get your drugs through the VA. Now, in your case, because you're in a trial right now, it doesn't matter. But there are advantages like that. So I'll check, and we'll make sure that you get a notice about the VA group too, and we may be able to find some benefits for you via the VA.
About 10 or 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I went to the VA to apply, and they turned me down. So, and I hadn't been back to reapply again.
Well, this is hold on a second, Al. I think that was probably you that just came in on the phone. So we need you to mute so that we don't get feedback on the computer. That's exactly why we have this group, so that, you know, where you've tried to get into the VA before and you've had issues and you cannot figure out what to do, the experience in this group is really helpful to navigate you, so to get through. So, you know, we've got people who are in the group who have worked at the VA as doctors. We've got people who have worked in the ratings, and we've got some really, really good experience. And the group is open to anybody, any type of disease. You know, we will refer people back if we have a specific group. So prostate cancer guys, we send them back to the prostate cancer group. But this particular group, which meets on the fourth Thursday of each month, is really to help you navigate the system. Benefits. There may be benefits that you can get from the VA system. And you know, we can talk to you about that. Jim Marshall is part of that group, and I think he's seen how useful it can be. So
Thank you. I appreciate
That's
that.
nice. Thank you. Rick, are you the one that we spoke to on the telephone?
yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Appreciate you giving us all the information.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure. And we should be able to hear Al at this point. Al, speak up. Say something.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, we can hear you now.
Hello,
Loud and
everybody.
clear.
I'm Al. I'm in Tucson. I was diagnosed 2 years ago with polycythemia vera.
And Al's one of our moderators.
I'm on the back burner.
Well, apparently your ears are, or at least your headset. That's about you. Well, I'm glad it worked out that you could come in this way. Now, Bill, where are you speaking to us from?
Hi, I'm in South Florida. I'm in the Keys. So in 2006, I had a sore throat I couldn't get rid of, and I was diagnosed with SLS in the lymph nodes. And I've had I think FCR at that time. And then I was okay till 2013. I developed a autoimmune anemia that really knocked me down. And I was hospitalized with that and brought on a cardiac issue as well. And so then I was diagnosed with CLL. And let's see, presently I am on Calquence, which, and it's been about 16 months, I think. And it's worked great for me. I had an MRD a couple months ago, and I was I still had cancer cells, but the doc told me I was in medical remission. And from my particular circumstance, there's no reason to try and do double therapy or triple therapy or anything. I'm doing okay with what I have. My main problems are fatigue, of course. And the fatigue goes back many years to the time I had the anemia. My hemoglobin was down to 6.7. And I was on steroids for a year, pretty high dose of steroids to get over that. And I never really got all my strength back. But I really try hard to stay as active as I can, and it's mostly in the mornings. And I do some classes online, some exercise classes, things like that. Other than that, I'm grateful to be here, grateful for every day. COVID, I've dealt with the COVID thing as many of you have, with the 4 vaccines so far and Evusheld. And I'm due for my next Evusheld. A little peeve with my primary care doc, who 2 weeks ago got the information so he could order it, so I wouldn't have to drive 5 hours up the coast again to get it. That's
Did
what
you get it
happened.
in Hollywood?
Yeah, I care.
That place is famous. It's like,
That
if you
worked
can't get
out so well. I just politically, I don't know if they got it politically or why. And I spoke with the doctor, and he said, "Well, it's just we were so successful with the vaccines, they decided to give us the Evershield." I don't know, but I was glad to get it. And like I said, I had to drive 5 hours, stay overnight, and drive back. So this morning I called my doctor the third time and said, "Well, it's time. Has he ordered it yet?" Because now individual docs can order it. So.
well, that's
And
good news for everyone
yeah,
to have that on the Evusheld. I didn't realize that.
yeah, that's fairly new. I think 1st of August maybe. And individual docs can order 2 or 3 doses for their own patients. And there's a website they can go to. And I think it's maybe directly with AstraZeneca. I'm not sure. And other than that, I'm doing pretty well. I miss my grandchildren. I'm still very careful. I wear a N95 when I'm near people. I go out to eat occasionally and mostly outside. If there's a big empty dining room, I'll go in there with my wife. But other than that, I miss going out and stuff like that, as everybody does. So that's me.
Okay.
Well, the other problem is not just the pandemic and our disease, but the prices are going up.
So,
very expensive now to do something.
Oh, that too, everywhere. Bill, how long did you say you've been on Calquence, which is a calibutnin?
About 16 months.
And
I was on ibrutinib initially, and I stayed on for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months or more, but I had a lot of joint pain and just moved all over my body. It was very painful, and I put up with it, and I probably had some diarrhea too. And I put up with it, and then I finally said, no, I can't do it anymore. So I was off it for a little while, and then got started on Venetoclax. And I was only on that for about a month when I got a real bad case of shingles. And then I was off it for several months, and then when it was time to go back, we went right to Calquence. And that, I got some headaches for a few weeks, but other than that, it's been great.
Pat, I know are you on treatment, Pat?
No, I'm on watch and wait.
Okay, so I guess I would, and Ellie, you're off of it. So I guess I'm the only other CLL person on treatment here with you. And I'm also on the same that you are, Bill. Same thing with the headaches. But I'm interested in that. I was living between Miami and Boston at the time, but I was working in Miami, and I was diagnosed there with CLL. Were you diagnosed at University of Miami?
No, I was diagnosed locally, and we have a cancer center down here. It's now part of Genesis Care, and so we've had kind of oncologists come and go. I was comfortable with my general oncologist in the beginning. When I had the SLL treatment, I didn't know any better to seek a specialist anyway. I just kind of went with what I was recommended, and could be FCR did me more harm than good. I'm not sure. That might have helped bring on the bad anemia I had. But I just saw my local doc, and then when it was time to go to start the ibrutinib after the 7 years of remission, I had a doc I liked a lot, and he actually was here for 3 years. He's been gone a couple of years now. And I said, well, what about a second opinion? He said, sure, I get a second opinion. So actually, I went up to Moffitt and saw Dr. Pinella at Moffitt in Tampa. So I had, consult up there, and he said he agreed with what my local doc was doing. So I was on that for a while. And then I guess before I went on the calibutrinib, and maybe before that, the time gets confusing. But I had a friend in New York who has CLL, and I told her, that what was going on with me, and she said, "Oh, you got to see my doctor." And I said, oh, great. Yeah, I could use a specialist. She said, oh, he's wonderful. He's wonderful. So it turns out that I've seen Dr. Rye by televisits for about 18 months. And he's like the legend CLL doctor. He's about 80,
He's so
83.
practices. He's over 90 now.
Yeah, he's quite a guy. So I've seen him just by telehealth visits several times, and he's been wonderful. He's been so good. But then you may know this, Michele, just a few months ago, Jacqueline Barrientos left Dr. Rye at Northwell, and she's now at Mount Sinai in Miami Beach. So
I saw that. Finally,
so,
there's someone good here.
Yeah, exactly. So I contacted her just to make initial contact because I don't want to give up Dr. Rye. But she said, hey, anytime I can help you, you know. And I had a televisit with her, and she said, well, listen, why don't you come up for your next Evershield injection? I'll give it to you, and we'll have an initial visit. So she's been super. So that's now South Florida has Dr. Barrientos as well.
Thank goodness. That's one of the reasons, honestly, that is the reason I left living and working in Miami.
Yeah.
Because this is back though in 2015, because
Mhm.
there was no one there, and it was the whole way that I was told I have it and all. It was just, I did not have a good feeling.
Yeah.
And plus,
with COVID, you know, we got so comfortable with televisits that I could see Dr. Rye in New York or even Dr. Barrientos in Miami Beach and not have to drive 5 hours or fly up 2 hours or something. So that's been a boon.
well, she's a great doctor. I've interviewed her a few times, and I was so happy when I heard she was going down there. So you're quite fortunate for that. So besides the headaches, you said nothing else with the Calquence for side effects?
No, I don't think so. I take another med that makes me sick, Otezla, and I take like a quarter of the dose I'm supposed to, and I haven't even taken it for several weeks. That makes me more sick. So other than that, I don't, you know, I have psoriasis, and I'm also a graduate of prostate cancer, the radiation, and I'm having some radiation side effects. It's been 8 years, no, 6 years since I had radiation, but I'm having urinary tract scarring and stuff like that now. So that's a whole other ball game that's giving me some torture. But those are the only side effects I have. Yeah.
Well,
Mr. Bill, anyway, how many times a year are you getting tested for the prostate cancer?
Well, I get PSA tests occasionally, at least a couple times a year. But yeah, it's been under control. But then when I had this other urinary problem come up, the PSA jumped up just from the irritation of that. So.
Oh, sure. But in general, every 6 months is good. Because
yeah, I'm even more often than that. I whenever I have blood work, I say, why don't you add a PSA?
Sure.
So I probably do 4 times a year. Thank you.
Just on a side here, I want to compliment Michelle's husband. He apparently fixed quite a meal for her. She's on the 3rd course now, I think.
Well, I haven't eaten all day. No, I probably look like a pig, but no, I'm eating. It may look like fat quickly, but no, it's all the same thing. And it's reheated pizza. It's not the healthiest, but it sure tastes good. Al liked that, Lynn. Thank you for that levity. I know, I'm like, and meanwhile, if you hear crying in the background, it's not a baby, it's my dog. She's crying for me to give her my food, of course. She's a
Bill, you mentioned the headaches on a calibrutinib or Calquence, and most people say that those go away after a couple of weeks. So you just endured them, or drank more coffee, or what? How did you manage that?
Yeah, I like coffee anyway. They probably went away in about a month, and they weren't that terrible. But I get up every morning with a headache, which I usually don't, and the coffee would pretty much kick them away in no time. One thing I've also learned with this fatigue is strategic caffeinating. I drink more coffee than I used to, and I'll have a cup of coffee late afternoon, which, for 40 years I never would do. It would keep me up all night. But now I have a cup of coffee at 5 or 6 o'clock just so I can stay up till 11.
Also, if you
I
wake
love
up
that.
with a headache after sleeping all night, a lot of it is because you're dehydrated.
Right,
And
right.
if you get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, try to drink a big glass of water at the same time, and that will eliminate the headache when you wake up.
Good thinking.
Amen.
Thanks, Billy.
It's kind of like going back to my college days and thinking about how to make sure I do not have a headache in the morning from perhaps the activities of the evening before.
You mean
Studying
a hangover,
calculus.
right?
Making sure you hydrate a lot. But I did have those headaches, and it is interesting. And they all say, like caffeine, and is for those of you who have not been on it, it's that easy. And so Bill, you said you had tried ibrutinib, and Lynn, I know you're still on it. Barbell, I don't know if you've been on it.
Yes, I
I
have
don't remember.
also.
It did. I don't remember getting the headaches. Well, actually, maybe I did, but throughout here and there, but not just in the beginning. It wasn't consistent.
I got muscle aches.
Yeah, not on ibrutinib. I didn't have any headaches.
No headaches.
That's
I may have
that's a distinction for acalabrutinib that I hear over and over.
Well, Bill, thank you for all that. And regarding neuropathy, any of that on the CalPrints?
No.
That's great to hear. So we have some things in common there on the South Florida part. I'll have to send her a note, Dr. Barrientos. I don't know if any of you are checking the chat room. I'll write you a note about that, Bill, in a second after we hear from Pat, if you want to check in the chat on that. But Pat, welcome. Finally, I know you can't see the chat room because I give you credit. I'm a visual person. I don't know if I could still be on all this time just via phone. So that's wonderful that you are and you stayed with us. Thank you.
No problem.
And
I'm sure Lynn would take notes for me.
I know you're in Canada, but what part of Canada?
No, I'm in Rhode Island.
Oh, I thought you said Canada.
I'm the one that said
Rhode
that.
Island.
Rhode Island. I'm right up the street from you. I'm in Boston.
Woohoo!
Where are you in? You don't have to share, but I'm just more curious where in Rhode Island or what area, if you want to say county versus city and town.
I'm in the southern part of Rhode Island near the beaches.
I think you're near my in-laws.
I'm in North Kingstown.
Yeah, you're right. You're right there. They're in Matunic.
Oh, okay.
Close by. So, Pat, when were you
very pretty. I was diagnosed last year. I'm a newbie.
You are. And where do you go for your CLL?
I go to South County Hospital for my local oncologist, and I go to Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston for the specialist twice a year.
Wonderful. Who do you have? I go to Dana-Farber as well. Who do you go to there?
I have Dr. Hahn.
I've heard good things. That's not my doctor, but I've heard very good things. Can't go wrong at Dana-Farber. The same with MD Anderson. It's I'm glad to hear that because I've met some other patients in Rhode Island who do not make the trek into Boston. I'm very happy that you are, and that you said you have
I make the trek.
That's very good to hear. And you said you're in watch and wait. And how are you feeling?
Well, as Lynn and Barbell know, I have other medical conditions as well. So I've had cancer let's see, I had it when I was 40, so 13 years ago. I had cancer of the lining of the uterus, so I had a full hysterectomy. It was all self-contained, so I did not have to have radiation or chemo or anything of that nature. Fast forward, I made it to 5 years, cancer-free. And then when I turned 46, I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. And I also had microcalcifications in my breast. So I had to have a lumpectomy done, which took care of the microcalcifications. The ulcerative colitis, unfortunately, got worse over time. And it turned into what is known as pancolitis, which is the worst that you can possibly get. I was anemic. I was on prednisone for 4 years. And I had a cocktail of drugs of Humira, Remicade, all of those. I tried every single one of them. I never went into remission with anything for the ulcerative colitis. And I was finally in too much pain, and the doctor said, you have to, take out the colon. And I'm going, because I was just in so much pain. So I was okay. And went to the hospital. And it was supposed to be a 4-hour operation. Mine turned into 10. My colon dilated to the size of a baseball. Normally it's the size of a quarter. And it turned into a megacolon. And if I had waited about any more time, like a month or so, I would have been dead. I was septic. And I spent a month in the hospital after my ileostomy. I have a permanent stoma because I was diseased all the way to the rectum. So they had to take everything out. So I have a bag for the rest of my life. Took me a while to get used to that. And then I got diagnosed with SLL last year. And I got diagnosed because I was coughing a lot and couldn't figure out why. So the doctor did a CAT scan and found out my lymph nodes underneath both, I had it bilaterally. And, they were enlarged. So she recommended, to go to an oncologist, which I did. They did the biopsy and it came back as SLL. I'm going, okay, what are we going to do about this? Well, you're in watch and wait because, we have to wait till it gets really bad before we do anything. I went, okay. So I developed a abnormal high, well, not too high, but above normal white blood cell count. And I'm like going, well, that has to be because of the lymph nodes. That's what part of that is. So I have parts of SLL and parts of CLL. So I have like the combination. I'm like going, great, I have to be different. Thanks. I developed a hernia around my stoma. And I just had it taken out recently, actually on this be a month tomorrow. I had it taken out. Unfortunately, when they tried to do it laparoscopically, they found that they could not. So they actually had to open me up. They found out that I had surgical scars and where the scarring becomes like, very sticky, I guess is what it's called. And so he had to take all of those out. He actually had to take out my intestines in order to get to where the stone is to put the mesh in, and, to take the hernia out, put the mesh in, and then shove everything back in. Needless to say, I was in a whole bunch of pain when I came out. And last week, I ended up in the emergency room on Sunday. I woke up on Sunday morning, and Saturday wasn't bad. I mean, I had like little, I thought it was cold sore. Honestly, that's what I thought. When I woke up on Sunday, it went all the way to my chin, and I had a red rash going up the left side of my face into my hairline and in my scalp. So I went to the emergency room, and they said, "You got shingles." I went, "Great." And so I'm being treated for that. I got put on the gabapentin for the nerve pain, because let me tell you, the nerve pain is there. They are not kidding when they say that it hurts. And I'm on the antiviral. So I had to get tested to make sure that it didn't go in my eye. So I had to go to the optometrist, and it's not in my eye. But if I get it on my nose or anything like this, if I get any sort of lesions on my nose, I am to go back to the optometrist, because that's a sign that it has gone into your eye. I do have the shingles on the back of my ear, but not on the front. So I did have to go see ears, nose, and throat doctor. Mine ear, nose, and throat doctor was out of the country. So I had to go find another one, which was just ever so much fun, because I had to explain to them why I needed an appointment like today. So they were very nice, and they worked me in. And they said, "It's just on the back. It's not in your ear." I went, "Okay." With the antiviral, he doesn't think that it will go into my ear, but I do have an appointment in September, again, just to make sure that it has not gone in my ear. Really don't want to lose my hearing. And I'm in watch and wait, or as known as watch and worry. And they did a body scan on me in June, or a CAT scan. I get one done every year now. And they did the body scan, and the lymph nodes have increased in the abdomen, and now I have them in the neck as well. And that's where I'm at.
Pat, thank you so much for coming. You were remarkable. Truly, all that you have gone through and going through. And I thank you for sharing with us what we're here for.
Yeah, Pat, when we talk about comorbidities, we think, why would anything else go wrong? I've got cancer, and you're an example of other issues that can surely come up. And of course, we all are trying to be, but your CLL, SLL came along after the fact, after fighting these other complications in your life.
Yep, I had all the other stuff first, and then I had the SLL CLL, and so yeah, I was like going, oh, okay, just another thing. By that point I'm like going, oh great.
I think the best thing going for you is your attitude. It is really, really good. And I think that helps you get through a lot more than you think.
Well, I have a very warped sense of humor, so I developed that when I used to be able to work, because I worked at a casino, and I worked at Foxwoods. If you're on the East Coast, you know what that one is. And I was there for 10 years. And so I developed a very good sense of humor because of that, because you have to deal with people who are losing their money, and they're blaming you. So, you develop a sense of humor about the whole thing. And so I developed a sense of humor about it, and that's what I've kept.
Well, you probably
I have my bad days just like everybody else, but most of the time I'm just like going, okay. And I do have counseling. She comes every 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks. So I do have counseling, which I've had for the past 4 years.
What were you doing at the casino, Pat? Were you a dealer?
No, I worked what they call in the cage. I worked with the money. I was
Right.
a supervisor.
Oh, right. No, it's interesting. My sister was a dealer for many, many years, and she had a similar medical experience to you. Her colon burst, and she was septic, and she had to wear a bag for 6 months, but she was very, very fortunate because they were able to reverse it. So I'm very empathetic to all the issues around an ostomy.
Yeah, unfortunately mine they can't reverse mine. I was too diseased in the rectum for mine to get reversed.
And she's lucky actually even to be with us because she was so close from the sepsis.
Yeah. I mean, I was in the hospital for a month, because of that.
Yeah.
Because it's an adjustment, and I'm sure that she would remember having to deal with leaks and bag changes and all of that, and it takes a toll on you.
Yeah, absolutely, all of the above. We've actually given some serious thought, but we don't have the ability to do it yet. But we may well try to start an ostomy group here. Maybe an IBD group or an ostomy group. It's been in our on our radar for a couple of years now, so we'll see.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Pat Foxwoods, you would know, I have an aunt who's now close to 100, and her son brings her there every week. And she has a sharp mind still, counting cards there or something. I don't know. Yes, but she still goes every week. Unbelievable that she does. But yeah, he takes her on every week.
I've kind of learned because in the section I was in, since I dealt with the money, people would come up, to cash in their chips, get credit card advances, things of that nature. And because I was a supervisor, I also dealt with a lot of the foreign patrons. And I'll let you know that I can probably swear in about 5 different languages. And you know when you're being like insulted. Trust me, you know. So after about 10 years, I can pretty good do good of Mandarin, Japanese, Chinese, some Spanish, not that good in Spanish, but and stuff like this. So I can probably swear in about 5 different languages. So so I'm like going. So when I like do things like around the house and I, how you like, stub your toe or something like this, I don't say it in English anymore.
I find I only need one language to swear in.
That's my girl. That's my girl, Sally.
I haven't learned the German one. Barbara's going to have to teach me German because I haven't learned German yet. So, but it's, it was fun. I enjoyed it. There was days where you wanted to pull your hair out. I'm not, anything about that. But for the most, I missed not the job itself, but I missed interaction with people. Because I'm afraid now, because I'm like going, it's like going, the pandemic didn't help me whatsoever. It just made me more fearful of going out. It's like going, okay, scared to death to go out sometimes. I haven't gotten over that fear, and that's what my counselor and I are working on right now. Me trying to, get over that fear of other people or gatherings or anything like this. She's trying to get me to go to a movie, and I'm scared to death to go into the theater. Yeah. So
I have to tell you, I have that fear. I don't know if anyone else does, but I have that exact same fear due to.
Oh, good. I'm not by myself in this.
Oh, definitely. I had my wife go to the movie with her sister tonight instead of me. I haven't gone to a movie in years. I don't feel bad about missing it. The movies. I miss other things, of course, but I know what you mean about that fear.
Yeah,
I just moved across country, and that was easier than going to the movies.
It's very debilitating to fear to go outside. I mean, I can go outside into my yard and, no problem. I can go there. I'm allergic to grass, but okay, fine. But to go around other people, because I don't know where they've been, who they've been in contact with, that weighs on me. Because when I had the ulcerative colitis, I became autoimmune. And, because I didn't get the surgery, for 4 years, the autoimmune portion of it, because there's 2 sections of it. There is the colitis section and the autoimmune. And mine went into the autoimmune as well. And so I have all the joint pain and everything like this. So when they took out the colon, the autoimmune remained. And so the colitis portion, yes, I got medically, cured on that. But I still have the autoimmune portion of it. So I'm like going, so like you just get this actual fear that you're going to get sick. You like going, okay. And then the pandemic happened, and then, it's like going, oh, great. I'm, always putting Propel on and everything like this. It's like, and that's no way to live. But I don't know how to get over that. And that's what we're working on right now.
Well, maybe you can share with us at our next meeting what she shares with you. Because that could be very helpful for many of us, I think, or at least those of us who are still isolating.
Yeah.
So that would be great for us to hear that, Pat. And I hope you do. Our next meeting is on, I just wrote it down, just for people in case anyone has to jump off, because we still need to get to others, but it's Thursday, October 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So it's always the first Thursday of the month. And we usually AnCan will send out an email, but sometimes it gets spammed out. So just in case, it's the first Thursday of every month, and start looking for that email the week of. It should come the day before, I believe, but it's always the link that you use tonight. And it always starts at the same time, like same bat time, same bat channel. Does anyone have any, let me see, some other people wanted time, and Sally, you are one of them. No? Oh,
I don't need time. I will
He's tired.
give up and donate my time to anyone who would like it. I
like
feel
giving your,
great. I've been off Revlimid now for 3 months. My blood work was all perfect. I saw Dr. Abenor yesterday, and he said, I don't want to see you for another 2 months. So I'm very happy.
oh, that's wonderful news.
I know, but it's still always, you know, when is it coming back? But he says, you know, I've been MRD negative for 3 years now in a row, so he's happy about it.
Miss
Oh,
Sally, we live in the moment.
Yes, we live in the moment is right.
The moment, okay?
Yep.
And
That's
if you're
great.
doing great, we are thrilled.
Oh, I feel great. I'm walking better. Love my new house. As most of you know, my family from Ireland is all here for the next 2 weeks. And my brand new month-old niece just came down from Chicago yesterday, so we're all here.
Aw.
So busy
And
times.
you're not speaking with a brogue.
Not yet. Give me another 2 days.
Gonna have to talk to you then. That's pretty
Yep.
cool. Are you going to ASH, Sally?
I've been asked to go to ASH, and I have to decide whether I'm going, but I haven't decided yet.
Oh,
Are you
it's in
going?
December anyway.
Yeah.
December 8th opens.
Yeah.
We're only in September now.
Yeah, I have to go back to California in October, so it depends on how the airlines treat me at that point, whether I want to do it again in December. My sister coming in from Ireland, they were 18 hours late, and it took them 4 days to get their bags.
Oh gosh.
You might tell the new people what ASH is.
Oh, the American Society of Hematology
It's an annual conference, one of the big ones.
in
A lot of
December.
research papers presented.
I think it's in San Diego this time, isn't it?
Yes.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
It's in New Orleans, which
New Orleans.
different.
New Orleans. It's New
New
Orleans.
Orleans.
New Orleans.
You can tell
Oh,
I'm
I
a
think I
northern.
can.
Oh, that's we're saying more or less, Lynn.
I think I can make it.
So
So we can talk about that at our next meeting to find out. And Pat, Lynn, do you have Pat and Bill's emails or not?
I don't think so. Pat, I think, is one of my Facebook friends.
Yes.
As Barbell is.
Oh, Bill, if you would like to send your email, and then I can also check on Dr. Barrientos's email with you. If you can send in your email in the chat room. Thank you for those who did. And let's see, who else needed time? Lynn. Do you have anything new happening?
Since the last time we met a month ago, I made the trip down to MD Anderson and for my annual checkup. I also had one at 6 months. But anyway, things went pretty routine there. But I got permission to go to Dallas. The trip to Houston is 400 miles, and the trip to Dallas is about 200. So conceivably, I can go to Dallas and see another expert, CL expert, called Dr. Farouk Awan at Southwest Medical Center, and go see him and maybe have a little blood drawn and come back to Abilene the same day. But the trauma for me in Dallas has always been the freeways. And if you have an appointment at 8 or 9 o'clock, you have to get on the freeway in the dark and drive in the dark. And so going to Dallas, we could probably work this out all right. Anyway, I like the variation of the location closer, and I like having another expert involved. And this one, my doctor at MD Anderson, his specialty is lymphoma. So although he treats SLL patients and considered an expert, I like the idea of seeing Dr. Farouk Awan, who's younger and very actively involved in CLL, and Michele has interviewed him and so forth. But that's pretty much a summary of what's going on with me.
And your numbers are all good? Still feeling good?
Numbers are looking good. Maybe next month we can talk about comorbidities. I can tell you what my comorbidities are. Those worry me more than the cancer.
Oh. Well, that means we all have to share then. If you show us yours, we have to, if you show us yours, we have to show you ours.
We did talk about side effects. I've been on ibrutinib for 8 years. I have peripheral neuropathy in the feet, and I think that may contribute somewhat to my problem with balance, and some tingling in the hands, fatigue, brittle nails. I always forget something. Crazy wild hair.
You know what you're saying? I had this before treatment. I had this in the hands and on the feet. And after treatment, it was gone.
Well, I wonder, that's what we struggle with. Is this caused by my cancer medicine? Is it caused by one of the other pills I take? Or is it caused by how old I am? Or is it caused by the cancer itself?
I think it's caused by the cancer because it's gone now. I don't have it anymore.
Yeah. Very interesting. Well, Lynn, we look forward to hearing more about that next month. And let's see, Al, you didn't want to share, right? Still not sharing?
Yeah, I really don't have anything. I guess I got a question for Bill. Bill, what do you do? Do you do anything for to try and bring up your energy level up with your fatigue? I take DripDrops, and I noticed that helps me. I also deal with fatigue.
What is DripDrops?
It's powdered electrolytes. You can get them on Amazon. They also have liquid IV, but these contain less sugar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really do much. I mean, they say if you exercise, it has the opposite effect, that you have more energy. So I try and do that. And yeah, and I nap. And but no, I don't have anything that I do that works.
Well, it's interesting.
Check that out.
Mention that, Lynn, you said you have fatigue, and on ibrutinib, I had great fatigue, and I'm starting to get a little bit of it with the Calquence, so calibrutinib. And I did find with the ibrutinib, and I remembered it the other day, it's like if I have a bottle of electrolyte water, it helps, or coconut water, but the DripDrops would be easier and portable. Sally, you had mentioned one that you use. Was this the brand?
No, I use Propel, and I go through a lot of it. And it's made by Gate. It's made. I can get it. You can get it in powder, or you can get it already mixed. And I use the powder all the time. In fact, I just ordered another 12 boxes of it because one packet fits in one bottle of water. And I go through probably 6 a day.
Wow.
No sugar, but all of the, vitamins, minerals, everything you need. And it has always helped. And I don't like water.
Well, if you drink it all the time, it gets odd. What are DripDrops?
It's similar to that. It's from what I understand, it's what is it? Potassium, magnesium, your electrolytes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a
It's like
mixture of
electrolytes,
different minerals.
Yeah,
but
you just put it
flavored.
in bottled water.
Okay.
I happen to like Propel better, but that's me.
Mhm.
I used to drink that for boot camps I used to do. I should go back to that. It'd be certainly easier and tastier.
Again, you can get it at Amazon, and it'll be here tomorrow.
Can you
or
write
the
the name in the chat, Sally?
Sure.
You say
Okay.
you can order it on Amazon too then. Propel, okay.
And Al, how long does one of those drip drop bottles last?
Well, they're not bottles. They're actually little packets. It's electrolyte and powder. You dump it in the water. And so, yeah, I just do one a day. I haven't done it in the last couple of days, but if I do one for a couple of days, yeah, I get my energy level back up. I do a lot better with it. Yeah.
Propel is also powder.
Faye, hold that up to the camera.
Yeah, Faye, can you hold that back up? Look at that.
There you
didn't
go.
even plan it for you.
DripDrops, dehydration relief fast.
This is like an advertisement that was planned. Al talks about it and someone else is like, funny you should mention that. Thank you. And yeah, I have to try some of these things again, as opposed to just buying those big bottles. It's more portable too, those little packets that you're all using. Thank you. Jim, I know you said that you maybe wanted to share.
Well, anyway, I can postpone it because it's getting late here. So anyway, I can do it next week if it's okay.
Sure. So, yeah, Barbell, are you 7 hours ahead? 6 hours ahead?
We're now, it's 3:30 in the morning.
Are you a night owl? Are you just a night owl?
Yeah, well, tomorrow is another Zoom meeting, with the CLL sisters, but this is a bit earlier. It's at 11:30.
Well, I'm glad you're with us this evening, and I'll probably see you tomorrow on the CLL sisters too.
We'll see each other again.
Well, I think we all should say good night and see you next month.
Okay.
Absolutely. So by now, do we have everyone's email here? Let's see. I know we have yours, Pat. We don't have your email.
Yeah, we have from everybody who's wanted to share it, Michele.
Okay, but Pat can't send it to us because he's on the
She's
phone.
on the telephone. She can't write.
Okay.
Probably say it. So.
Well, let's just leave it. Pat, if you'd like to get a reminder to another meeting, you can go to AnCan.org, Alpha Nancy, Charlie Alpha Nancy, AnCan.org, and you can just sign up yourself and for the blood cancer group and any other groups that might interest you, and then you'll be sure to get it. You'll be sure to get the reminder.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, everyone, and I hope I see you next month on October.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And happy blood cancer.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Michele.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. Cheers, Barbell.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye, Faye. Nice to have seen you in